What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Comic Culture. This is another episode of Nick at Night. We're going to talk about the books we picked up on May 5th, so stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to go over the books we got this week, non-spoilery. I'll go over some of the high-level themes of the books, but I'm not going to give away any major plot points, any cliffhangers. I'm not going to give away things that you would want to kind of, witness yourself, right? So, don't be alarmed when I go through these books. I'm not going to give away anything too big. Let's start with the big two. We'll start with Batman 108. This is that Miracle Molly first appearance introduction. So we do get a lot of Miracle Molly in this particular issue. First off, what I'll say is James Tynion is doing an amazing job. The art is it Jimenez and Mori. They're doing an amazing job with the art and the coloring in this book. It's a heavy narrative issue, but you do get a lot of just great full page spreads. We do get an origin story for the original, or for, I think it's, the Peacekeeper version 1. So you do get a nice little origin of that particular character. You get a lot of Miracle Molly. She's really a badass. She's interacting with somebody that you find out in this issue. She's kind of hard to trick. The people she's working with, the people that make up her group, really are trying to do the right thing in their eyes. Kind of like a Robin Hood, rob from the rich, give to the poor kind of situation. So it is a really, really cool issue. I really enjoyed it. It's heavy in the narrative, but the art and coloring is very, very, very vibrant. Lots of cool neon colors. This is kind of like a futuristic, a futuristic timeline. People are enhanced. There's augmentations done. And there's some really cool technology. The areas that they visit, the landscape scenes that they show you, it's really impressive. So, the art and coloring alone would do this book justice, but I think that the actual story itself is actually pretty interesting. Heavy in the narrative, but I think it was needed. So, Batman 108. Cool introduction to Miracle Molly. Not hardly any action at all, but I think it was still worth it for sure. Okay, only other DC book I got was The Swamp Thing, issue number 3, Rom V, Perkins and Spicer. The first thing I'm going to say is this book continues to deliver just amazing quality in every aspect. I'm going to show you a quick panel. There's nothing in here that's going to be spoilery at all. But when you see panels like that, it kind of reminds me of when I first started reading comics. I was reading that Old Man Logan, and I think it was Andrea Sorrentino, who did that art and coloring. It kind of reminded me of that kind of look. So this progresses our story. We get to know a little bit more about Swamp Thing. We get introduced to a new yet familiar character, and we get to learn more about the Green. And so, we get a little bit more insight on what the Green is and some threats that may be taking over the Green. And so it's very, very well done. Nice progression of the story, some cool new yet old characters, and some new characters introduced, a couple cliffhangers, and I really, really love Swamp Thing. And this is issue number 3. So if you're not in the Swamp Thing yet, pick it up. We're only 3 issues in. It's like one of the best DC books out there, for sure. All right, one more big 2. We don't get a lot of big 2, man. We got some independents after this. This is Heroes Reborn number 1, Jason Aaron. I liked this book too. It reminds me of the House of M, when Wolverine wakes up and he's like the only person that remembers anything. Same kind of story, but it's Blade. So Blade's around. He remembers the Avengers as we all know and love them today. But in this particular world, no one's playing their part, you know, and I'm not going to give anything away. If you know anything about the solicitations for this, you know, there's different combinations of characters, like Doctor Doom has like the powers of Sidorak, so he's actually Juggernaut. So it's like, what was it, Dr. Juggernaut or something stupid like that? Where is it? Yeah, Dr. Juggernaut. So I think we've all seen some of the combinations of characters that are in this book and some of the previews or solicitations. Blade's walking around doing Blade things. We get some pretty cool combinations of villains and heroes. So yeah, it was an interesting book. I actually liked it a lot. I think that there was plenty of action in this book, plenty of character introductions, and I think the ending was perfect, and it left me wanting to hear more. So I can't wait for Heroes Reborn #2 and just kind of see what Blade can do to kind of convince everybody that something's not right. How did he get here? Who are these people? How does he get back to where he came from? Or how does he undo whatever mess happened, right? So can't wait for Heroes Reborn #2. All right, so we're going to go over to Boom. We're going to leave our image books alone for now. This is Eve #1. This is that A cover. I actually got the store exclusive for Murfreesboro, the Outer Limits in Middle Tennessee. But Eve #1, it's kind of like a Matrix kind of vibe. There's a girl who's living out her life, or so she sees, or so she thinks anyway. You know, kind of wakes up, realizes reality is not quite what she thinks. She's introduced to a companion pretty early on. It may or may not be this bear that's standing up right here. And this bear is here to kind of help her get reoriented to the real world, and presents the mission for her that they need to go on. You can see in the cover that, you know, the world's kind of flooded, things are falling apart, buildings are destroyed. They're on some kind of a board, and they're using a stop sign as a paddle. So you get the sense that they're going to venture out in this world to fulfill whatever mission they need to fulfill. So I thought it was good. I think this book, I think the pacing was really, really good. I don't think it was too realistic. I know it's a comic book, but I think that the storytelling could have been done in a more realistic way. I think she just kind of accepted whatever this bear was telling her, and just kind of, it seemed like she kind of got over it pretty quickly and just kind of went on with it. And there wasn't really that gut punch that you think she should have in the situation. But I liked it a lot. I think the art was really good, and I want to know more, which is what good storytelling is. It's good characters with an interesting problem, a good premise, and, good enough execution to want you to figure out what goes on next. And that's what Eve #1 did. So I'll keep picking it up, I think. Okay, let's go on to Firepower. This is issue 11. This issue was non-stop. I think every single panel was something absolutely crazy. And we get some pretty cool, like, full spreads here of just chaos and fire and just action. The paneling is interesting. There's lots of, like, angled panels and, like, panels slicing through each other, and it's just nothing but, blurry kung fu panels and, like, weapons and people getting cut up, and you get some really cool, again, some more cool full page spreads. Story-wise, there isn't a whole lot of dialogue in this. Basically, it's the two factions fighting. There's a couple little secrets revealed, and then the end is a pretty good cliffhanger. We kind of get a tease of this other Grandmaster that's not really been in the books yet, just kind of like a statue that they all kind of worship. And, is that statue going to come alive? We don't know. Is it going to turn the tides of the battle? We'll find out. But I think it kind of ended a little abruptly, and I think they could have kind of teased where it's going to go a little bit better. But it was an action-packed issue, some pretty cool paneling, not a whole lot of dialogue. You can get through this pretty quickly, and it's firepower. But it's just, an action scene from the first page all the way to the last page. So pretty cool, action-packed issue of firepower. All right, 2 more. We got The Good Asian, issue 1 from Image. I think this is the B cover, if I'm not mistaken. So, I don't know. I didn't enjoy this book that much. I feel like there's probably 5 different problems going on at once in this book. There's at least 3 or 4. So not only do you have the atrocities and the hardships of just, immigration into the U.S. during this time period with this group of people, but you also have, the detective stories that are going on inside this book, and our main character is kind of like a Sherlock Holmes almost. He just notices all these real subtle details about the people he's with, and he can kind of extrapolate all this data from that. So it's got like a Sherlock Holmes vibe to it, but it was hard to see where this book was even going, because it starts this like immigration story, and then it leads into a family with like their internal drama, and then it leads into like his personal drama all of a sudden. So it like abandons the first 2 kind of sub stories, and then as it's getting into that family drama, it unearths just this other shocking thing. And so it's like, if I feel like every single hardship it brings up, it abandons it for another one, and it just kind of stacks and stacks and stacks. And perhaps I didn't make all the connections I should have been making, but it seems like it's just trying to do too much at once. And it kind of had like a 7 vibe at the very end with some of the there's some murders that go on, and so it kind of reminded me of the movie 7. But I feel like it was trying to do too many things at once. I think it should have stuck to 1 or 2 of the problems and just kind of carried it all the way through. But let me know what you thought of Good Asian, and are all these different problems, are they all like super connected, and I just never understood the common thread? I don't know. I was hoping for more out of Good Asian, but I don't know. We'll see. And then, this was probably my pick of the week. This is Nocterra 3, Scott Snyder. It's just so good. Tony Daniel, and then Maury. So, this picks up immediately after issue 2. This is kind of the getaway. So, our main characters, her and her brother, the old man and the girl, they're trying to get away from Blacktop Bill and his gang, and they're doing everything they can, throwing every trick at the book at them to kind of stop them from gaining on them. It kind of goes into the history of these different like truck stops, and maybe some of the booby traps or some of the things they can do to kind of get people off their trail. It kind of goes into a little bit about our main character and her brother's history of her parents and the night that the darkness fell. And so we get a little bit of some like interviews from the news with some doctors kind of talking about what's going on with this metamorphosis. And so we see how that plays into the present time of this book. Really, really good action scenes, of course. We get some amazing coloring. We get some amazing art. I'll just flash this real quick. Just some really, really cool art and coloring in this book. Nocterra is a very, very, very well done book. Heavy in the dialogue in this particular issue, but you read it and it just reads super, super quick, I think. So I'm really psyched. Really good cliffhanger at the end. And Blacktop Bill, man, I'm telling you, he reminds me of Negan so much. He's like, he really enjoys hunting people down. He enjoys like the brutality of it. He's doing it because he enjoys it. And so that really reminds me of Negan. So yeah, Nocterra 3, did you read it? What'd you think? All right, that is all I picked up. That's all I read this week. Nice little decent haul here. I'm glad I can read them all in a couple days so I can let you know what I think about them. Which ones did you read? Which ones did you pick up? What was your pick of the week of these books? Which one did you really enjoy the most? And what'd you think about our first appearance of Miracle Molly and our Peacekeeper 01? I think they're referring to him as. I thought it was a good issue. I kind of wish I got some of the variant covers, but I don't know. Issue A is pretty fire still. I like that. Yeah. So guys, thanks again. Let me know in the comments what you got, what you thought. While you're down there, hit subscribe, hit like, hit the bell notification. In the description, you're going to see some links to the PCP Army Bad Batch. We got Chamorro, we got TM Nerdy, we got Phable, we got Big Herm. Check them all out. Their links are down below. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.